Black CEO denied withdrawal, froze when she said, "I own this bank." The entire branch froze when the black CEO was denied bank withdrawal, treated like she did not belong. Whispers spread, eyes judged, and the manager smirked, confident he held all the power. But when the black CEO denied bank withdrawal finally spoke, her voice cut through the air with 5 shocking words, "I own this bank." What happened in the next 60 seconds left every customer speechless. And the manager begging for forgiveness. The room went quiet the moment black CEO Danielle James stepped up to the counter. Her tailored navy blue suit was immaculate, her posture confident, and her dark brown eyes held the kind of calm strength that made people pay attention, though in this case, not in the way she expected. "Good morning," she said with a polite smile. "I need to make a withdrawal from my account." The young bank teller glanced at her briefly, then frowned at the amount on the slip Danielle had slid forward. It was a substantial sum, enough to make eyebrows raise, but still well within what she had in her personal bank account. "I think you'll need to speak with our branch manager," the teller murmured, already signaling toward a man in a sharp gray suit across the room. The bank manager, Mr. Collins, approached with a smile that never quite reached his eyes. "Ma'am, I'm afraid large withdrawals require additional verification. Do you have proof that this is your account?" Danielle raised an eyebrow. "Yes. My ID, bank card, and account details are all here." She calmly placed them on the counter. But instead of checking them, Mr. Collins leaned closer, his tone suddenly cold. "Look, I don't know how you got access to this account, but people like you don't normally have this kind of money. I can't approve this until we investigate further." A few bank customers turned to watch. Someone stifled a laugh. Danielle felt the burn of humiliation creeping up her neck, but her expression didn't change. Years of corporate boardroom battles had taught her how to stay composed under fire. "I am requesting a withdrawal from my account," she repeated, her voice even. "And you're refusing, because—" Mr. Collins crossed his arms. "Because this is suspicious. You could be attempting fraud. Unless you can call the account holder to confirm, I can't help you." The irony was almost laughable. Danielle was the account holder. But instead of explaining, she decided to let him dig his own grave. "Very well," she said softly. "Perhaps I should make a phone call." She pulled out her phone, dialing a number from memory. Across the room, the bank security guard started moving closer. People were openly whispering now, clearly assuming she was some kind of scammer. Danielle's voice remained calm, almost too calm, as she said into the phone, "It's me. I'm at our downtown branch. Tell them to prepare for an ownership review." Mr. Collins scoffed. "An ownership review? And who exactly do you think you are?" Danielle slowly turned to meet his eyes. Her next words were so quiet, yet so powerful, that the room seemed to freeze. "I own this bank." The whispers stopped instantly. Every head turned. And for the first time, the disrespectful bank manager's smug smile faltered. For a moment, the only sound in the bank branch was the faint hum of the air conditioning. Mr. Collins blinked rapidly, as if trying to decide whether Danielle's words were a joke or a threat. "You own this bank," he said, his voice dripping with disbelief. Danielle simply smiled, her posture regal. "Not just this branch. The entire James Financial Group, which includes every branch in this state. You might want to check the name on your paycheck." Gasps rippled through the room. The bank teller who had first helped Danielle looked like she wanted to melt into the floor. The security guard froze mid-step, glancing nervously between Danielle and Mr. Collins. But Mr. Collins wasn't ready to back down. His pride was wounded, and his ego refused to accept that he might have just insulted his ultimate boss. "That's impossible," he scoffed. "If you were really the owner, you wouldn't be standing here like some regular customer." Danielle tilted her head slightly. "And what, exactly, does a bank owner look like?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Some of the customers shifted uncomfortably, realizing the ugly implication in his words. Before he could answer, Danielle's phone buzzed. She answered immediately. "Yes, good. Let them through." Through the glass doors at the front of the branch, 3 black luxury SUVs pulled up. Men and women in sharp business suits stepped out, followed by a tall man in a navy blazer, the CEO of operations for James Financial Group. He strode inside with purpose, a folder in hand. "Danielle," he greeted warmly, shaking her hand. "We have the documents for the ownership audit you requested." The customers were now openly staring, some even recording on their phones. The teller's face had gone pale, and Mr. Collins' smirk had completely vanished. "This," Danielle said, accepting the folder, "is the confirmation you apparently need to believe I have the right to my own money." She placed the documents on the counter. The bold header read, "James Financial Group, founder and owner, Danielle James." Mr. Collins swallowed hard, his arrogance draining away. I did not realize." "No," Danielle interrupted gently but firmly. "You did not care to realize. You assumed. And you humiliated me in front of your staff and customers because of it. The room was so silent now that even the ticking of the wall clock seemed loud. Danielle didn't raise her voice, but every word carried weight. Now, she said, we will talk about what happens next. Mr. Collins stood frozen, the weight of his mistake pressing down like a storm cloud. Every pair of eyes in the bank branch was on him now. Customers whispered in low tones, some shaking their heads in disbelief. Danielle took a slow step forward, her heels clicking softly against the polished floor. You see, she began, this is not about my money. It is about how you treat people when you think they have none. Her voice was calm, but each word cut like glass. The CEO of operations glanced at her, waiting for instruction. Danielle opened the folder again, revealing a second set of documents. This, she said, turning the pages toward Mr. Collins, is your employment record. And as of today, it is terminated. Gasps echoed through the bank branch. The teller dropped her pen. The security guard took a cautious step back, unsure what to do. Mr. Collins' face went from pale to red. You cannot do this. I can, Danielle interrupted, and I am. Not because you questioned me, but because you disrespected me. And if you can treat me this way in public, I can only imagine how you treat customers who have no power to fight back. The CEO placed a small box on the counter. Please hand over your keys and ID, Mr. Collins. The once confident manager now looked like a man who had aged 10 years in a minute. His hands shook as he placed the items in the box. He avoided everyone's gaze, but the shame in his posture spoke louder than words. Danielle turned to the teller and the other staff members. From today forward, this branch will operate differently. Every person who walks through those doors will be treated with dignity, whether they are depositing $1 or $1 million. Customers began nodding, some even clapping quietly. The moment felt like justice, not just for Danielle, but for anyone who had ever been made to feel small. But Danielle was not done. She looked back at the CEO and gave a small nod. He smiled knowingly. Bring them in. From outside, more people began entering the bank, well-dressed individuals carrying leather portfolios and gold-plated pens. They were the board members of James Financial Group, and they were here to make a statement that would be remembered for years. The bank branch fell silent as the board members entered, forming a line behind Danielle. Every suit was crisp, every face serious. The chairman, a tall man with silver hair, addressed her with respect. Mrs. James, are we ready to address this matter? Danielle nodded. Yes. This is not just a bank branch, it is supposed to be a place of trust, respect, and fairness. What happened to me today goes against everything our institution stands for. And it will never happen again. A frail elderly customer spoke up from the back. Thank you, ma'am. People like me, we get ignored here. Danielle smiled gently. Not anymore. Board members began handing out envelopes to customers. Each contained a $200 voucher as an apology, signed personally by Danielle. Gasps and murmurs of gratitude spread. The young teller who had stayed silent earlier stepped forward. I am sorry for not speaking up. I was afraid. Danielle placed a hand on her shoulder. Courage is speaking out despite the fear. I hope next time, you will. At the door, she turned to Mr. Collins. Your final paycheck will be sent to your address. Let this be a lesson you never forget. Outside, sunlight bathed her in gold as she entered her luxury car. Inside the bank, people realized they had just witnessed a story they would tell for years. For Danielle, this was never about proving wealth. It was about proving that respect should never depend on a bank balance, but should be given freely to all. And from that day forward, no one dared underestimate her again.